Welcome. Today we're going to do a quick little morning wake up class, and we're not using any props. All you need is a yoga mat, or you can even do this whole class straight on the ground as long as it's not too hard. So we'll start in a child's pose position on our mat. Okay, so child's pose looks like this. Sitting back on your heels and reaching your chest forward. Come into a position where you can rest your head on the ground. If that's a big strain, then bring your hands or even a little pillow underneath your forehead. And if this isn't comfortable at all, then you can stay up here in a tabletop position. Wherever you are, just take a couple of breaths. And as you breathe here, notice how you feel. Just bring your attention inwards and notice what is here when you pay attention. Nice, and we're going to start to move. If you're in child's pose, walk your hands as far forward as you can. So you're really stretching out underneath your armpits a bit. And if you're in a tabletop, same thing, you can walk your hands forward a little bit like this. Nice, and now we're going to float from our tabletop or our child's pose forward. Lift your chest forward, set yourself up so that it feels like your shoulders are lined up over top of your wrists. Nice. We're in a little bit of a low plank here. So check that you're not collapsing down towards the ground or back up closer to tabletop. Be somewhere here in the middle. And then press back where you started, tabletop or child's pose. Let's go back and forth a few times. Take your time, nice and slow, waking yourself up. Breathe nice and easy as you go. And the next time you come up into your low plank, let's walk our hands back, come into a tabletop shape. And from here, let's move our hands on our wrists a little bit. So step your hands a little closer together. Turn your fingers out to the sides like this. All right, and now just shift your weight forward and back a couple of times so you can get a bit of stretch in your wrists. And now let's circle a little bit. Just allowing your weight to shift around the palms of your hands and your fingertips. Nice, let that go. Come up to a kneeling shape here. Maybe move your wrists a little bit more. Lovely, let that go. Let's do some shoulder circles here. Just circling your shoulders up and back. And forward and down a couple of times. Nice, let it go. Okay, come on back down to your tabletop. And we're going to go back to that movement of waving forward and back. Either same thing we just did, child's pose or tabletop into your low plank, or we're going to move from downward facing dog to high plank. So you can get yourself set up the same way if you'd like to take that option. Or if you'd like to do our down dog version, then start by stepping your hands a little bit wider apart. Turn your arms a little bit into external rotation so that your fingertips are pointing out to the sides just a little bit more. Nice. Press down into your hands, grip the ground a little bit. Keep that as you walk your knees back just a touch. Turn your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog shape. Maybe you want to stretch out your legs a little bit here, bending one knee at a time as you press the other heel down. And just pedaling back and forth. And then let that go. Now let's drift forward, shifting your chest forward, lining your shoulders up over kind of over top of your wrists. They're a little wider this time. Nice. Let's go back. Downward facing dog. Just pressing yourself back. And let's go forward and back a couple of times. Nice. Whichever version you're in, just allowing this to be a nice, smooth, slow movement. And the next time you come back to your plank, we'll take a moment here and then come all the way down to the ground. Lower yourself down. Take a moment here to just breathe. Nice. Let's do a little bit of a back bend. So start by bringing your hands to the ground by your sides, just like this. And then roll your shoulders up and back, as if you're trying to pull your shoulder blades down towards your heels a little bit more. And now lengthen through your spine. Reach your tailbone down towards your heels. Reach the crown of your head forward. Keep all of that as you lift your head and your chest up a little bit away from the ground. Try to keep your head in line with your spine so you're not cranked back here. Let's let that go. Float yourself back down to the ground. And now we're going to lift and lower up into either that position, or we can change up our arms a little bit. So option one, hands on the ground like we just did. Option two, reach your arms long by your side so your fingertips are reaching down towards your feet a little bit. Set up the same way. Roll your shoulders up and back, lengthen through your spine, softly lifting up. If you're in this version with your hands back, you can reach them back towards your feet. But just lower and lift a few times. Go in whatever version suits you at your own pace. The next time you come back down, we'll stay here. If you'd like, you can rock your hips from side to side a couple of times. See if that feels good for your back. Nice. And come on back up to your tabletop when you are ready. Okay, once you're up to your tabletop, just move your spine a little bit any way you'd like. Maybe you'd even like to bend your elbows a little bit as you move. And find your way back to your tabletop. Let's move our spine a little bit here. We'll go through cat and cow a couple of times. Maybe moving with your breath if you'd like. As you inhale, you can arch your back as if you're trying to point your tail up to the ceiling and reach your head up a bit. And then round your back into cat pose, tipping your tail and your head down. And keep going. And come on back to a neutral spine when you're ready. Nice. Okay. Let's come into a low lunge. So we'll start by stepping the left foot forward like this. And set yourself up so that your front knee is kind of on top of that front ankle. And the back knee is a little bit behind our hips. So when you come up, if you find that your hips are right over top of the back knee like this, then just scooch the front foot forward a little bit so your hips are leaning forward a little bit more. Nice. When you're ready, we'll come up to a more upright position if you're not already there. Try to pull your front foot and your back knee towards each other a bit so you can engage the muscles in your legs to support you as you lift up. Keep that action going once you're up here. Nice. And then you can either keep your hands on your hips, or if you like, you can reach your arms up for a breath or two. Breathe easy wherever you are. Lovely. Bring your hands down if they've been lifted. And again, you can keep them right where they are if you prefer. Or you can roll your shoulders up and back and bring your hands back behind you, either interlacing your fingers or just resting your hands on your low back. Nice. Let's take a breath here. If you've got your hands back here, what you can do if you like is roll your shoulders back a touch more, maybe pull your elbows a little closer to each other. And then we'll let this go. Bring your hands back down towards the ground. Nice. Okay, I'm going to turn a little bit to the side like this so I can show you where we're going. We're going to move into a bit of a twist. So if you've got your left leg forward, then we're going to keep our right hand on the ground and bring your left hand right up onto your hip like this. Nice. If the other leg's forward, then switch that around. Start by bringing your attention to your spine again. Just like we did when we were belly down on the ground, can you lengthen through your spine as if you could reach your tailbone back towards your back heel and reach the crown of your head forward? Keep that nice length as you lift and turn your chest so that your chest is facing a little bit more towards the front knee. Nice. And you can stay right here or you can reach the top arm up towards the ceiling. Nice. Take a breath wherever you are. And then bring it back down. Turn your chest to face down towards the ground a little bit more again. And walk your hands both to the inside of your front foot. I'll do a nice little hip movement here. So on that front leg, walk it out to the side a bit and add a bit of external rotation so that your toes end up pointing out to the sides a bit. And then on the back leg, walk your knee out in the other direction and spin the back foot in a little bit. And then just kind of rearrange so that you feel reasonably comfortable in this awkward shape. And now we're going to move. So shift your hips back, shift your hips forward, maybe make some circles. Nice. This time your weight is circling around on the front foot, maybe on your hands as well. I like to change the position of my hands to get a bit of a different wrist stretch here, but see what you like. You might be on your fingertips, you might have your hands like this, does not matter. You can circle a couple times the other way if you'd like. And we'll let this one go. Come back to your low lunge where we were. And now we're going to step this front leg out. Nice. The whole sole of your foot is on the ground. And once you've got that shape, press that foot down into the ground and try to pull up from your ankle up to your hip. Let's take a breath or two here. And when you are ready, then swing this leg all the way around to the back and have it straight with your toes tucked under like this. Lovely. And now press your toes down into the ground a little bit and try to reach back through your heel. Nice. See if you get a bit of stretch along the back line of your leg. Awesome. And bring it back in. Come on back to your tabletop. Maybe you want to move around here. Maybe you want to sit back to your child's pose or just pause and rest where you are. All right, come on back up when you're ready. Let's do that whole series on the other side. So bring the other leg forward. Find your low lunge. And again, squeeze your front foot and your back knee towards each other as if you're trying to gather the mat up between front leg and back leg. And then lift up, keeping that nice strength in your legs as you stay here. Hands can stay where they are, or you can choose a different arm position. It's up to you. Nice, and then let it go. Maybe give your arms a little bit of a shake out here. Nice. Okay, and again, hands can stay where they are, or you can try the our movement that we did on the first side, shoulders rolling up and back, hands coming back behind you. Maybe they rest right here. Maybe you interlace them. Once you're here, maybe you draw your shoulders up and back a tiny bit more. Maybe you pull your elbows a little closer to each other. This time, let's add a bit of a neck stretch. So just tip your head over to one side as if your ear is just dropping closer to that shoulder. And then come on back up and let's go the other way. And just go side to side. Nice. This might be a bit of a balance challenge, just moving your head from side to side. So just experiment. See what feels good for your head, what feels steady for your legs. Can you keep pulling your front foot and your back knee towards each other to steady yourself? Nice. Come on back up when you're ready. Release your hands and bring them right down to the ground again. And then again, we're going to have opposite hand as legs staying on the ground. So if your right leg's forward like mine is, then you'll have your left hand on the ground. Right hand can come to your hip. Nice. Add some length to your spine. Feel as if you could stretch out in both directions to lengthen. And then open your chest up, turning your chest towards that front knee. Maybe lift the top arm up. Let's take a few breaths here. And slowly let it go. Nice. Let's do our little hip stretch here again. So I'm going to turn your face towards you a little bit more. Walk the front foot out to the side. Add a little bit of external rotation so your toes are pointing out. Back knee can walk out in the opposite direction. Back foot can spin in just a touch. Rearrange if you need to so that you're comfy here. And then start to add some movement forward and back. See how that feels in your hip on the front leg. Do some circles. And then let this one go. Come on back to your low lunge shape where we started. Let's step that front foot out to the side. Nice. Press your foot down into the ground. Pull up from your foot up to your hip. Take a few breaths just right here where you are. When you're ready, bring that leg all the way back. Toe is tucked under. Press your heel or your toes down a little bit. Reach your heel back. One or two more breaths here. Nice. Come on back to your tabletop. Have a bit of movement. Awesome. All right, come on back to your child's pose or just rest on your tabletop. All right. Now we're going to come back down to our backs to finish off our class today. So find your way onto your back. Make yourself comfortable here. We'll do one more little stretch before we finish up. So bend your knees, plant your feet on the ground. Lift one leg straight up towards the ceiling, and then turn your leg in a little bit of rotation. So you're rotating in and rotating out. So the whole leg is moving as one unit to rotate out and in. And the next time you rotate out so that your toes are pointing out to the side, stay there, bend your knee, cross your knee over your ankle. And we're gonna stay here in this figure 4 stretch, either just like this, maybe pressing your knee away from you without using your hand. Or you can bring the other foot up and hold on to the back or the sides of this leg here. So wherever you are, let's take a few breaths. And then if you're holding onto your leg, let go. Place your foot down on the ground. Bring your arms out into a T position. And then just let your legs rock side to side a couple of times. Doesn't have to be a lot of movement, just a little side to side might feel nice for your back. All right, let's let this go. Unravel your legs. Maybe you want a little bit of wiggly movement between sides. All right, come on back to knees bent, feet on the floor. Lift the other leg up when you're ready and start with just a few rotations, the whole leg as a unit, rotating in, rotating out. Couple of times. And then pause in external rotation. Bend your knee, cross your knee over your ankle. Either just stand right as you are, or pressing your knee away from you without using your hands, or picking up the other leg and holding on for a few breaths. Wherever you are, breathe nice and easy. See if you can smooth out, maybe slow down your breath just a bit. When you're ready, let it go. Bring your arms out into that T shape. Have a little bit of a rocking movement in your legs. Just letting them tip over side to side. And then let it go. Bring both feet back down to the ground. Okay. And once you're here, take a moment to find a comfortable position. So you might want to stay here with knees bent. Might want to stretch your legs out. You might want to roll onto your side or your belly. Does not matter. Just get comfy. And once you're here, just take a moment to notice how you feel again. Just invite your attention inwards and simply observe. Take a step back and just notice what you notice when you pay attention. And I encourage you to stay here. Take a few more minutes for yourself, peace and quiet before you start your day. I thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. To the side.